Hello. So, some of you may know I used to be quite the proud atheist. Or, well, not very proud, and atheist may be a bit strong. I'd say agnostic. Like, I believed there was a God, but I just didn't know. I didn't believe in organized religion. I felt like religion had failed me. And um, I was just searching for meaning in all the wrong places. Until I had this spiritual out of body experience where I felt the presence of God, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And I know some people must be thinking, oh, you're crazy or you're mentally ill, or maybe it's a bit of both. But it really brought me closer to God. I knew that what I experienced was out of the ordinary. And yeah, um, I've been so in my church right now. We're reading the Bible as the book of the month. So every month we have to read, I think, four books from the Bible. We're going in order. I started by reading the book of John first. That's what my pastor directed me to do. But now I'm starting at Genesis. I've already read the book of John, and I think that they said that that's a good place to start when you're newly born again. Um, would I say that I'm Christian? I don't know if I'm there yet. I'm working towards it. This is a place. This is a time for me to explore my spirituality. I want to become closer to God. I had considered converting to Islam, but I thought before I abandon the God I grew up with, the God I was raised on, I might as well get to know Him and read read the Bible, learn who He is, learn what the Word means, and so far it's been a good experience. It's a new experience, that's for sure. Um, I'm I'm getting used to the language. I'm trying to find like I like my church, but there's some things that I don't like about my church, but I'm not going to speak negatively about it here. I think I'm trying to find a home, a spiritual home, and like a pastor that speaks to me, speaks in my language. I like I like lectures. Like I want to know the why, to understand the how, what goes into it, the who, what, where, when, how, why, just everything. But I I feel like I need to give church a chance. It's teaching me discipline. It's really grounding me. Uh, yeah. So I had some questions from the book of John. Um, the I wondered, what is sin? Like, is sin of the flesh or sin of the spirit? Because I know when I feel myself sinning, it feels like my spirit is toxic. But is it of the flesh? Um, and then I want to understand what it means to walk in the light. Does that mean just closer to God? Does it mean like knowing and education? What else? I highlighted some verses, so let's see if I can find them here. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Okay. I like that Jesus says, if you know him, then you know his Father. So you should trust that his Father is just his pure soul, I guess. Um, it must have been an interesting experience hearing Jesus speak, because I don't know if I would have believed it at the time. I mean, even seeing the miracles, I was taught that um, not to believe in witchcraft, that it's evil. But how else do you explain these miracles that nobody else can seem to do? Okay. It says the antichrists are coming, but what does that look like? How can you tell? I feel like they must look a lot like, some might look a lot like Christ and some might be the complete opposite. Sorry, I'm just a bit stiff. Um, let's see. So, chapter 3, verse 6. That which is born of flesh is flesh, and that which is born of spirit is spirit. That's why it's like a sin of the flesh or a sin of the spirit. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. John 3:16. Everybody knows this verse. Well, I mean, it's a commonly preached verse. For everyone who does wicked things hates the light and does not come to the light, lest his works should be exposed. Um, I feel like I'm constantly exposing myself before or after a failure. Um, I implode, I shut down, I isolate myself, then I explode, shining a light on the most negative parts of me. Like, I'm not really secretive with my dirt. So I wonder if that's a good thing or a negative thing. Um, a person cannot receive even one thing unless it's given him from heaven. I felt like I had this experience that was too good to be true, and that I was almost gifted by the devil, because it was just as quick as it was there, it was taken away, and I've never experienced anything like it since. So I don't know if that's always true, but maybe it was the devil that took it away and God that blessed me. I don't know. Um, Whoever believes in the Son has eternal life. Whoever does not obey the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of God remains on him. So, what does the wrath of God look like? And and how do you know when you're experiencing it? That's what I'd like to know. Um, and when it says a person cannot receive even one thing unless it is given from heaven, I have really bad imposter syndrome. I feel like I don't deserve, and I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Um, what does it mean to be humbled by God? How do you know if you're experiencing God's wrath? What does it mean to experience God's wrath? Can He leave you? These are all questions that I have. And if you have answers or interpretations, feel free to answer. Another question I have is, do Jews have baptisms? Because the John the Baptist and they say rabbi and they speak in Jewish language in the Bible. So I wonder what customs that are similar in Christianity and Judaism. I always wondered, if Jesus Christ was born a Jew, lived as a Jew, and died a Jew, why aren't we Jewish? I always wondered that, but they said because he's Christ and the only way through God is through him. That's why we're all Christians. But then you have Islam, who they believe in Jesus too. And like, Jesus is the Son of God, but we're all children of God, and there have been chosen people in the Bible. So, how do we know that Jesus should be exalted to another level? That's why it's almost like, if you believe in Jesus, should you believe in it? That's why I'd like to explore all three texts. the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran um, to see where my heart takes me, to see what truth I'm able to find. Um, when I ask, what do Jews have baptism? Again, what was John doing and why do they call him rabbi? What does it mean salvation is for the Jews? Um, so this is chapter 4, verse 22. You worship what you do not know. We worship what we know, for salvation is from the Jews. What does it mean salvation is from the Jews? My mom said that the Jews are the only ones who get heaven. They get to go to heaven. Um, like, is there a special heaven for Jewish people? And what does it mean to be a Jew? Is it the Jew? I mean, because 2,000 years have passed. Is it the Jews as we know them? Are there, because there's African Jews, then there's the Hebrew Israelites. I don't know what type of Jewish they are, if they're actually Jews. Um, then there's like the Hasidic Jews, the Ashkenazi Jews. There's so many different types of Jews. So who gets heaven and what's left for the rest of us? Do we just keep living this life over and over and over again and until we get it right, each time getting closer to heaven? Because imagine what heaven would be like. How can we how can we even imagine race unless we think of like it in a context and the realities that we've lived? How do we know that we're not just energy recycled and I'm not going to pop up again maybe in 5,000 years? Like, I don't know. These are movie ideas. Um, what else? Jesus had magical powers and is a person who the Bible tells us to be and is the type of person who the Bible would tell us to be afraid of. Fortune tellers, witchcrafts. Are there other gifted people? And should we be afraid of them? Or should we celebrate them? Like the people who practice like pagan traditional healing, are they, is that something we should not be afraid of? And this video is getting kind of long, but that's that's just the those are just the questions I had up until chapter 4 in the book of John. So if you like this kind of content and you want me to read more from the Bible, let me know. If you have any questions, concerns, advice, that'd be great. I'm always open to hearing your comments and I try to respond. So